not necessarily tell them what to do, but help them with the information. And of course, we're going to continue to support online types of activities. We've had more than 250,000 hits on our website. We've had more than 12,000 print publications distributed. We're learning to blog and do all those kinds of things that I don't know much about, but Elizabeth might be able to tell you. I couldn't pass by the chance to show you a big fish because I am a fish biologist. That's actually the state record muskie that was caught last year. We actually caught it in the spring, and then it got released and it got caught by somebody and became a new state record. But the value of places like that and people coming to use those places can't be overstated. It's not that we need to preserve everything, but we do need to think about the relationship between the things we do, the quality of the environment, the quality of our own life, and the amenities that the state brings to us. And with that, I'd just like to say thanks and go blue.
Thanks, Jim. I'm going to do two things. One, tell you a little bit about a new initiative on campus. This is the Wolverine Caucus. We're assuming you're interested a bit about what's happening on the old campus. And then come back to this idea of integrated assessment that's been woven through a number of the conversations and talk a little bit about 2 or 3 or 4 that we're spinning up right now that are relevant to the Great Lakes region and to the state. In October of this year, President Coleman announced her new initiative on sustainability for the campus. In part of that, she created a Sustainability Executive Council, which she chairs and has 6 of the vice presidents on that. We've been meeting about every month and a half or 2 months to chart the path for the University of Michigan in this area. And it's really establishing ourselves around 3 major things. One is greening our campus. A second one is educating the next set of leaders that are going to take us forward in sustainability. And the third is developing research and bringing our research to stakeholders to actually help people solve problems, very much the way Jim has been talking about in Sea Grant. It's been a pretty exciting time over these last few months. In sustainability education, we've just launched a new undergraduate scholars program where students are applying for that program now, and at the end of their 4 years, they'll get a notation on their transcript and a certificate as an undergraduate scholar. We're looking at ways to integrate sustainability concepts and principles into many, if not all of our courses on campus, looking at developing new curriculum around sustainability for our undergraduates as well as graduates, with a large emphasis on hands-on experience, how we're going to actually use our campus as a learning opportunity for our students and actually get them out beyond the campus as well. Using the campus in effective ways. We have the provost puts on every semester a seminar on teaching, and this spring's seminar is on teaching and sustainability. We're going to bring together about 200 faculty members to think about how do we put more sustainability concepts into our courses and into our curriculum. We've been developing ideas around 3 major themes for the University of Michigan, and these themes are actually selected for an overlay of 3 major ideas. One is, where are the critical issues related to sustainability in the world? Second is, what are the strengths of the University of Michigan and our desires in these areas? And third, what is it about where the University of Michigan is located on a map that makes a difference? And so you can see that all 3 of these, climate adaptation and mitigation, water, aquatic systems and human health, and human accessibility and mobility, transportation, are 3 critical areas that match all 3 of those. They're critical for the globe, they build on our strengths, and it matters that we're here in Michigan because this is where it makes an important contribution for our own state. Within that context, within the concept of the research agenda, we're building concepts around and trying to develop 3 new centers of excellence on campus, bringing together the talent across all 19 schools and colleges to work in this area. One around sustainable water systems, one around climate adaptation and mitigation, and one around human choice, building on the strengths of the social sciences that we have at the University of Michigan, the Institute for or social research and others. And I put a box around the sustainable water systems because that is the one that Alan had talked about earlier, and how we can actually use the talent on campus and the problems that the world has and use the Great Lakes as a forum for doing that. A great place to bring together Siler, Sea Grant, and all the other enterprises on campus. And then the third area, which is a bit new for some parts of the campus, is a real focus on enhanced engagement. And that is engagement in a number of ways. Engaging our students with our research, engaging different disciplines to work on problems, but more importantly, and most importantly, engaging our academic enterprise with the outside world. You know, we have a very strong history of the one-way transfer. We get a lot of smart people together and learn some new things, invent some things, and move it out to the world. Well, sustainability is a challenge that requires a more two-way dialogue. And so this engagement is, as Jim was talking about with the Sea Grant integrated assessments, is bringing stakeholders and people with problems to the table with our scientists and with our students to help together define the problems, define the path forward, and understand and do the research that helps them. So we'll be doing the typical sorts of things of convening policy forums on campus. We have great convening power in Ann Arbor, developing white papers that will provoke policy dialogues within the state and at the national scene, but then a focus on these integrated assessments where we actually bring together the natural scientists, social scientists, the engineers, and the stakeholders to help define problems and move forward on some of their solutions. And this gives me an opportunity to segue into the institute that I happen to direct, because a lot of what we do is in this area of integrated assessments, trying to bring forward the capabilities on campus. And I'm going to give you, I think, 4 examples of what we're doing in that area and how it relates to Michigan and economic development here in the region. We're starting very, very close to home. We're working on greening our own campus to try to make it more sustainable. We're focusing on developing and helping with sustainability plan for the city of Detroit. Moving on to a larger scale, looking at climate adaptation and climate mitigation within the Great Lakes region and the role Michigan can play in that. And then moving out beyond that and looking at, are there ways for us to engage at the national scene to try to develop policies related to a more sustainable transportation in the country, and how does that then play back into the auto industry here. So first, on campus, we decided we really wanted to start at home first before we can actually go out and help others. We've developed 7 teams. These teams are chaired by faculty. There are operations people on campus that are working with these teams, and we hired about 45 students to do a lot of the technical analysis for them. And then looking at everything from buildings to energy, transportation, land and water, food, purchase goods, and cultural and behavioral change on campus, and how those can all come together in a way that will allow the campus to set long-range sustainability goals. How are we going to reduce our carbon footprint, reduce emissions, reduce water use, and probably save money along the way, which is good in our particular economy. We wanted to do this first, so we think that because the University of Michigan has 80,000 students, faculty, and staff on campus, 3,000 acres, 380 buildings, 31 million square feet of office and lab space. If we can do it there, it could be a model for other campuses and even other cities. So we're starting here with that. The second one is a real challenge. Everyone understands this is a real challenge. And we've decided there are a lot of faculty that were really interested in the problem of Detroit. And it was also interesting that when we started this program here, as Jim talked about working with the state, we put out a very broad call for wicked problems. We asked the communities, the world out there, to tell us what are your wicked problems that we can actually do these integrated assessments around. And someone from the governor's office contacted us and said, what about shrinking Detroit? And interesting, so we started with that idea, but started meeting with advocates in Detroit, meeting with the mayor's office, with city council, and realized that that's not the right way to ask the question. The right way to ask the question is, what are the policies that need to be put in place to make a sustainable Detroit? Shrinking may be part of it. There may be other ways to do that. So we've started working forward on this. We are working again still with the mayor's office and the city council, working with the foundations in the region, working with the advocacy groups in the region, and working with faculty on campus that have long-standing research interests and involvement in the city of Detroit to try to see what role can the University of Michigan play in helping people sort through some of the options and some of the policies they're going to be trying to deal with in this really, really difficult problem. The second one is sort of scaling up a bit and looking at the region, the Great Lakes region, and how can we both engage more effectively in mitigation strategies related to related to climate. Many other regions in the country